Excellent. I think it's synced up enough. Yeah, it should be good. All right. There's a task that I made. I just made a task of Majora's Mask, and I've been working on some other tasks for a while, but I did Majora's Mask, and I'm like, man, now that I'm like getting really good at this, I bet you anything, I could crank out an all dungeons task for this game super fast. And that is true. I was able to do it pretty fast. I was working on this for 3 or 4 months, which I think when I did the NA% task, it took me about that long as well. So I was like,
And that's like a third of the
yeah. So I
time.
was, yeah, it's like a third of the time. So I was like, I bet you I could do this one way faster now that I know what I'm doing, and I did. It
Nice.
it might. I wasn't like frame hunting quite as much in this one to like shave off a frame here or there, but it's pretty optimized. It's pretty good, I think, and I'm happy with it. And there's a lot of cool stuff. And so for those people who aren't as familiar with, you know, OT3D, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, for those who aren't familiar, OT3D has like it still has a lot of the same glitches, but then a lot of stuff also got patched, but then there's also a lot of new stuff. So it's like a really interesting combination of old and new stuff.
Exactly. So one thing I gotta talk about like every single time is that the text speed is super fast. And the reason for that is because there's this extremely strange thing that happens in this game where there's one frame at the beginning of every text box where if you hit the B button, it'll just like clear the entire text box all at once instead of having to wait for the text to scroll. I don't know why that happens. It doesn't seem like it's intended.
The weird thing is,
But
in vanilla OT, on English, that happens for some very specific text boxes, but there's only like a small handful of them. And then I don't know what happened, but somehow that made it into every single text box in this.
well, it's actually the opposite. There's a few
Oh,
very specific text boxes where you can't do that.
oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah, if you're in a shop, it doesn't work for some reason. It's strange. And if there's like a white screen, if there's text on a white screen, also doesn't work. Okay.
Oh
And
yeah,
link as
so
well.
do we want to talk about the rules for all dungeons?
Oh yeah, okay. So rules for all dungeons. It might actually be a little different between 3D and 64 because there's kind of a weird thing we're going to allow in this run, and it might seem kind of weird, but it is. It makes the route really cool, so we're doing it anyways. And that is, you have to beat every dungeon, and every dungeon is the 8 main dungeons are the ones with a blue warp at the end of them. And you have to beat them by entering the blue warp and obtaining the medallion or the spiritual stone or whatever it is. But you don't necessarily need to keep those in your inventory. You don't need to end the run with all of the medallions or spiritual stones. You just need to get them from the blue warp at the end of every dungeon.
Okay, I see. That is a little bit different from vanilla, but I think I can understand why that might happen.
Yeah. So collecting some rupees here, which is a little weird because usually OT3D is not collecting rupees at the beginning of the game. A little bit of manipulation.
And then general movement is pretty similar to regular OOT, where side hops are the best movement for child. And I assume backwalking is pretty much the same too. Backwalking and side hopping are both good.
Yeah, side hopping's a little better than backwalking.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit better as child, a little worse as adult, right?
Yeah. And the text is just so fast.
Yeah. And then actually going to Deku Tree as the first dungeon. How interesting.
Yeah. I'm messing with something real quick. Can you tell me when Link enters the Deku Tree on your end?
Yeah.
Just because I'm gonna make sure I'm synced up.
Alright. Alright, entering right now.
a second behind.
Yeah, so a lot of OOT speedruns, both vanilla and 3D, don't typically go to the first dungeon as the first dungeon, but sometimes this does. Oh, that was interesting. Want to talk about that?
Yeah, so that's an invisible seam right there. There's a couple of those. They exist in Ocarina of Time as well. But basically, what happens is sometimes walls like act like they're floors, and OT's got this really weird thing where you're able to stand like one in-game unit off of a ledge and not fall off of it, just to give you like a little bit of leniency, so that you're not like walking off of ledges like when you don't mean to. But what'll happen is if a wall is acting like a floor, and it's like really, really steep, you can like get on that one unit of leniency, but your height will still match like the incline of that floor. And so because walls are like way steeper than floors, you just kind of zip up like a really thin spike of collision. It's super precise, but it's very cool. Oh yeah, Fessin. And
you didn't do the dungeon though.
No, I didn't do the dungeon.
I hope you remember to go back.
It's tragic. I forgot to do the dungeon. Oh no, I gotta reroute.
Oh, but yeah, you want to talk about ESS?
Yeah, so Fess is that's a forward extended super slide. A lot of people are familiar with like Hessing. It's basically the same thing, but instead of taking shield recoil speed, you can get just like normal damage knockback speed, which is a little bit faster in Ocarina of Time 3D. Actually, it's a lot faster.
Yeah, in regular OOT, it's actually barely faster than backwalk speed, but in this, it's like pretty close to full Hess speed, right?
I think it's like 15 speed.
Yeah, as opposed to full Hess speed, which is 18.
Yeah.
So yeah, still pretty good.
I think the reason for that is because the frame rate in this game is 30 FPS as opposed to the 20 FPS on N64. So some things are like, the frame rate conversion didn't happen everywhere. It wasn't made everywhere. So like, I think it's like 50% faster or whatever, because the frame rate's also 50% faster.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Doing some owl skips. Yeah, so if you swap two items frame perfectly like that, you can skip the owl text. So that's another benefit from going to Deku Tree a little earlier, is I have an opportunity to get a Deku Stick, so that I have sword and Deku Stick to do that. And more fessing, just vibing. Now here's some I didn't know, but now I know, is that this tree has Deku Nuts in it. Sometimes it's random.
Yeah, it's a pretty low chance if I remember correctly. It's annoying. There are just some trees in Hyrule, not every tree, but some trees in Hyrule Field can drop nuts.
There's like 3 trees.
Yeah.
That have them, and they also contain Deku Sticks. Those trees. I wanted to get another Deku Stick and a Deku Nut, but there's just not enough trees. They're too far away. I can't make it to Castle before night. Yeah, so I waited for nighttime to enter the castle because it's a little faster to move through this area when there isn't as many NPCs, like, walking around, getting in your way.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to wait for daytime later on anyway, right?
Yes, exactly. So I wanna spend less time in areas where time doesn't pass. And so if I have to waste time in other areas, that's fine. Another owl skip there. Now this is something no one knew you could do until pretty recently. This is way more precise than it is on N64. Yeah, someone, Pal, another OT 3D runner, realized that you could see him walk up that, but it's super precise.
So it was just thought impossible for a while?
Yeah, because it's just so hard.
Some nice out-of-bounds swimming. Yeah, so out-of-bounds water extends downwards infinitely, so you can just swim in it from out of bounds.
Exactly, yeah. So this would have also been an improvement to my any percent TAS that I didn't know about, is that this little bit of water right here in front of the crawl space extends all the way up. So if you can get underneath it, you can float all the way up. You don't need to get the egg from Malin. You don't need to wake Talon. You don't need to move the boxes.
Yeah, and
it's very good.
the really interesting thing about that is in vanilla OT, that water is not actual water. So you can't.
Oh, is it not?
No, it's not. That's an OT3 exclusive.
I actually didn't know that. That's so weird. Guards, a lot of people know, but guards, you need to be standing on the ground for 2 frames for them to catch you. So if you're side hopping perfectly, they can't get you. Also, I wasted 1 frame to have the stick in this cutscene. So
acceptable.
Time loss. Yeah. I couldn't. You have to roll into that cutscene, roll into that text in order to have the stick there. Side hopping would have been 1 frame faster. Yeah, the text is just really fast. So it's kind of, I haven't explained really any of the route thus far, but it is a bit odd going to the Deku tree right at the beginning of the game, getting the slingshot and just piecing out. This route is going to need the slingshot later, and it would have been totally fine to have just gotten the slingshot when the route inevitably does go back to the Deku tree. However, I realize that it's a little faster to just go there first, get the slingshot, and then leave because of something that's going to happen pretty soon here.
Is that normal where Link and Zelda are like clipping into each other?
No, you clear the text boxes so fast that Zelda doesn't move out of the way all the way.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when I did my first test of this, I thought it was like a graphical bug. I thought like the emulation was just bad, and I was like, oh no, the text is just too fast. So there's a little Easter egg here where if you shoot the slingshot at that window, there's a castle guard that'll throw a bomb out of the window, and the bomb will land at a random place every time. But you can use that bomb to skip the Zelda's Lullaby cutscene. It's super hard to do in real time because, again, the bomb is in a random place every time. So, like, finding a setup for it is basically impossible.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. And the cutscene skip still gives you the song because you get the song on the first frame that the cutscene starts.
Yes. So that was why. Yeah, what did Runner guy say? Yes, first try. That video is so good. Yeah. So kind of the next thing that this route is going to want to end up doing is pretty much it's a race to get magic and Furor's win. So that's what's going to be happening for the next little bit. There's a really cool skip that you can do here. It does not actually save time, or at least I couldn't find a way to save time. Where there's another one of those invisible seams, but it goes really high, and you can side hop over that gate and not talk to the guard. But the text is so fast that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, dude, I'm so jealous of the text because in vanilla that text is like a minute, even on Japanese.
But it's also like you have to think about it so hard. Like if you're doing like a real-time speedrun, it's like you can lose so much time to doing bad.
Oh yeah, like trying to time all your B presses perfectly to make sure that you actually get the fast text.
You have to mash at about, I think, unless if you have perfect text, you need to mash at like 10 button presses a second or something like that, like 10 inputs a second. So you have to mash pretty fast after text.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a weird thing that happens here that I'm going to try to explain. But essentially, what's going to happen is I'm going to load and unload these rooms in a very specific order. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want and that's so that I can go through that statue right there. What's happening there is when that statue loads in, or actually when I load in the main room, there's a hookshot target that gets loaded in. It takes like 2 frames to load in for whatever reason. And so if I enter the main room and then leave really quick, the hookshot post, the collision for it will kind of load in the place of that statue. And so the statue ends up like not loading. It's a little more complicated than that, but that's the gist of it. And that was actually just recently figured out why that works.
Hey, do you want to talk about triple slash clips?
Oh, yeah. So that's the second triple slash clip that this run has done. But basically, if you swing your sword 3 times and then put it away, Link will take a really big step back. Now, that situation right there is really annoying because that corner isn't really like big enough to, when you slash your sword, you don't get like pushed back at all by the wall. When you like, your sword won't hit the wall, so you have to re-angle in between your slashes, and it's pretty precise. But obviously for a TAS, it's like not. It's kind of trivial in a TAS, but doing it like in real time is pretty hard. And there's magic. Yeah, so the whole reason I went into Goron City and then went through Death Mountain Crater was because I just basically needed a fast way to climb Death Mountain Trail without... because there's a couple of boulders in the way that you need bombs to get through. And a little bit more movement. So now this route is kind of booking it to go get Farore's Wind, because that item is very useful in this game, and you're going to see why. Now, here's also another improvement that was found that could have been implemented in my any percent task, but no one knew about it, and it's pretty cool. So first off, I'll skip here. You're going to see that a couple more times, but right here...
Nice.
Another invisible seam. You can enter that loading zone real fast. Normally, there's... On N64, you can do a jump slash to kind of clip in to get to that loading zone, but in this game, the only other way to get into that loading zone right now would be to wait for a Navi, so that you can do a Navi dive, which takes like 15 seconds. So that saves a pretty good amount of time.
So do you guys have like a way to know where invisible seams are, or is it like just lots of guessing and testing? Oh, yes?
We do. I don't know how it works, but GameStable made a Blender plugin that figures out, basically, now that we understand more about how they work, that can like show you visually where they are.
Oh, that's super cool.
I don't know if it works for N64 maps, but yeah. So you can look at like a Blender model of the map and just see like this huge spike of collision coming out of the ground.
Nice.
Another triple slash clip. That's like one of the easiest ones in the game. It's pretty basic, just to get through the wall to get past King Zora, so you don't need the bottle. Doing a little west here. Same ESS tech. And another invisible seam. All of those inputs were just copied from my any percent task.
I love that clip.
It's super hard to optimize.
Yeah, it's so fast. Just like one moment you're just on the ground, the next just rise up and clip through the wall.
Yeah, rise up, gamers. Be like Link.
Gamers rise up.
So yeah, a lot of this early part of the run is kind of some setup stuff. So getting Farore's Wind, but after this,
yeah,
kind of get into start doing some of the dungeons.
Yeah, almost 20 minutes in and no dungeons. Wow. Speed up.
Well, we went to one dungeon.
Oh yeah, you touched one dungeon.
Yeah,
that's it.
Okay. So, in a lot of categories that need to complete a lot of dungeons. Little Wes here again with the Mega Flip off the Skulltula. Love that. Then you can do a Deku Stick Jump Slash to clip into this dungeon early.
Oh, nice. I didn't realize this method actually still worked in OT3D.
Well, it works for a different reason. So, two-handed weapons, when Link does a Jump Slash with them, the hitbox is like behind Link's head. So if you have a wall behind your back, the hitbox will hit the wall behind you, and you'll get like backwards recoil with it.
Okay,
and so you can clip into the gap with that. So you're actually not hitting the wall in front of you. You're hitting Jabu.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, so a bit of a tease there. Enter Jabu, set Furor's win, and then immediately left. So still not a dungeon.
Well, it looks like we're finally going back to Deku.
Yes. About to do the first dungeon of the run. Deku Tree. Amazingly, this is not the shortest dungeon.
Nice.
But it's pretty fast. So that combines two invisible seams. The one at the beginning in the middle of the room, that one is huge. It takes you all the way up to the ceiling. And then using another one over by that door to side hop into the boss loading zone. So boss loading zones, when you're in a dungeon, are always active. Or like they're always loaded. So as long as you can find a way to get to it, you can just land inside of it and still go to the boss room. Goma's pretty easy. You can stun lock. I'm doing broken Deku Stick here, which is a technique where Link can jump slash with the Deku Stick and still have it be in his hands so that you can continually use it. Deku Stick does a little more damage. Lot to explain here. That was a Furor's Wind wrong warp. So using a glitch, I can use Furor's Wind in the boss room and then return to that point I set earlier. So it tries to basically play the Deku Tree cutscene in Jabu-Jabu's belly, which I'm not going to explain all the math, but it takes you to the Sun Song cutscene, but your coordinates are weird, so you void out, and then you spawn in Jabu again because you voided out, and that skips the Deku Tree Kokiri Emerald cutscene, which is really long, so we don't want to watch that. And that Sun Song cutscene is one of the fastest cutscenes in the game. So when you do a wrong warp in this game with a blue warp, you need to play a cutscene, otherwise the game will crash. That's not like the N64 version. You can have like if you have like a good cutscene pointer, no cutscene will play and the game will not crash. But you need to play a cutscene. So basically, you're just trying to find the fastest cutscene to skip the one you don't want to watch because that one's really long.
So the fact that it was the Sun Song cutscene, is that something you had to manipulate, or is that just like things line up properly? Things just happen to work out?
Things line up properly. Yeah, it's where a wrong warp sends you is completely just determined on where you set Furor's Wind. It's the same as N64. You can do that exact same wrong warp on N64. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, on N64, you can do that stuff where it's like, oh, before you do the DC wrong warp, you, don't you have to, like, save warp or something?
Yeah. On N64, there's a bunch of weird stuff you might have to do, like save warp or, like, do a magic spin plus throw a Deku Nut or something to, like, try to make things line up properly so that cutscene pointers get overwritten or something.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you try to pull any of that stuff in this game, it just won't work. It'll just crash. Weird little like cutscene thing there. When you land on that switch, you can avoid the Navi trigger, but then activate the switch at the same time that you trigger Navi, and it'll like double up cutscenes and cancel stuff, and it's like a little faster. figured out you could do that, and then I started watching Homer Funky's MST test, and I saw that he did it too, and I was like, oh, we're both geniuses.
Nice.
And after you do that wrong word in Deku Tree, actually, wait, this is really cool.
Oh, I love this trick.
It's so fast.
Yeah, the Beery Mega Flip.
It's so good. After you do the wrong work in Deku Tree, the Ferrer's win point doesn't go away, so you can use it to get back to the dungeon. Okay, so in 3D, this took me a really long time to figure out how to actually control it. But you can like 360 no scope pretty much everything because there's gyro controls, and the gyro aiming is you can aim so fast with it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that boomerang aim was insanely fast.
Yeah. Now the TAS interface for it is like really bad. So every time I do gyro aiming, I basically just have to hex edit the TAS file for it, which sucks. But it's really good. And you can fight Baronade very fast with it, because you don't have to like target all the tentacles. You can just like no scope the tentacles.
Oh, dude, I'm so jealous of the OOT 3D boomerang because you can call it back immediately after you throw it.
Yep.
In OOT 3 or in regular OOT, you just have to wait for the boomerang to come back to you and just sit there.
I don't remember. I heard from someone once. I don't know if you've ever heard this. That the name Baronade is perhaps a mistranslation. Have you heard this?
I feel like I vaguely remember something about this. What was the mistranslation supposed to be from? Was it like...
It was supposed to be like Baronado, because it's like a berry is like the jellyfish enemies, like the big ones.
Oh yeah.
And then it's like tornado.
Yeah, I think I remember something like that.
Yeah, I hope everyone's taking notes. This will be on the test. If you clear some text boxes really fast, weird things will happen in the cutscene. So if you do those first 3 text boxes, Rudo will start swimming away like 5 seconds faster. And like, we'll do it before all of the text is done. It's kind of strange. And that's the first dungeon. Cool.
Alright, 1 down.
So I gotta check. What's the time? The time is at I don't know, Twitch chat. Almost 30 minutes in, only 1 dungeon. So that means this will be
a long run.
Yeah. Okay, I have to start explaining something very complicated right now. So there are different like gameplay modes in this game, like technically speaking. So there's just normal like walking around gameplay. There's like cutscene mode, title screen mode, boss rush mode, and then Gossip Stone or Sheikah Stone like hint mode. And they all have like a number. It's like all just internally how the game keeps track of like what's going on in the game. And so the title screen acts differently than like just normally walking around and playing the game. So if you were able to gain control while on the title screen, things would act really strange, and you could do some unintended stuff. However, you're not supposed to be able to walk around on the title screen. That would be insane. However, this segment is going to do something kind of weird. Okay. So by entering that grotto and then quitting, what's happening is the game is trying to load the grotto, but can't because Link is dead. And then by quitting the game the game says, oh, okay, Link's no longer dead because we're taking him to the title screen. And then it tries to load the grotto, but it's loading the grotto on the title screen, essentially. So now I'm playing on the title screen. Loading zones don't take you where you think they're supposed to go when you're on the title screen. And I did like 3 things right there. It all happened so fast that it's difficult to explain. Essentially, while I was on the title screen in the grotto, I entered the exit to the grotto and used Furrow's Wind at the same time, which took me to the coordinates of exiting the grotto with the map that Furrow's Wind was supposed to take me to, which took me to the market entrance area, just barely out of bounds. So I needed to enter that grotto when I died from the Wolfos with like 2 in-game units of leniency to make sure that I was close enough to solid ground to land back in bounds. Hit the loading zone to go into the market, and then going to Temple of Time took me to Fire Temple, and then I just died to that Keys while exiting, which took me to Forest Temple, but I'm trapped in that room, so I need to Death Warp here, but I don't have any explosives to do that, so I needed to die in Fire Temple, hit the loading zone in Forest Temple, so that I could save quit, which cancels the title screen effect, and now I'm in the Forest Temple. I know that was a lot.
Makes sense.
Really, the craziest thing right there is, like I said, when that Wolfos killed me when entering the grotto, the positioning leniency for that is very small. It's like 2 in-game units on the X axis that you are allowed to hit that, because if you're not, you spawn out of bounds when you're in the market area or the market entrance, and you need to like, because the way grotto coordinates work is you exit the grotto at the same position that you entered it. And so when I do that little, we call it a Furrow's Wind Void Warp, or a Death Hole Void Warp for that matter, it'll use that that coordinate that you entered. So it's an insanely small position. Doing a triple slash clip right there, you can fall out of bounds, lands in the basement. And because the Forest Temple basement is like, there's a big actor that lines the whole room. It's like it's the bit that spins the room around. You can like get inside of that and then clip into some of the railings that line the hallway leading to the boss door, and then just like enter the boss door.
Yeah, but basically like the majority of the walls in that room are the actual spinning actor thing. So when it's just not there,
Yes.
you can just walk around the outside.
And enter the boss loading zone.
Yeah.
Doing Forest Temple as child is kind of weird, but it's good and it makes sense, and I'll explain why later. But for the time being, this is the reason why I needed to get Slingshot earlier. Because the only things that can damage this painting phase of Phantom Ganon is the Slingshot, the Hookshot, and the bow.
Yep, and Boomerang does not work.
Boomerang does not work on this phase. It does not work on this phase.
Yeah.
However,
The next phase.
Boomerang works really well on this phase because Phantom Ganon has no way of blocking the Boomerang, but still reacts to it for some reason. So you can just get instant stuns with it.
Yeah, because when you shoot a projectile at Phantom Ganon, he tries to spin his staff, which is like acting as protection, but not actually protecting him. But then also you're able to hit him during that staff spin animation, and the Boomerang just hits him. So you just get an instant knockdown.
It was never supposed to, that staff block move was never supposed to interact with the Boomerang, so it kind of just doesn't block it. Okay. And I also set Furrow's Wind in the Hyrule market, so I can do another. So that trick right there is restricted items, which allows you to use Furrow's Wind in boss rooms. I can use that here to use Furrow's Wind as I enter the Blue Warp, which skips the Forest Medallion cutscene, which is really long. Don't want to watch that. The chicken girl on the left's just running around, having a good time. Setting Furrow's Wind again. Save warping back to Kokiri Forest. The way restricted items works is if you switch 2 items in your inventory, the usability of the item. So let's say, like right now, I have Farore's Wind and Zelda's Letter on the X and Y buttons. So I can use Zelda's Letter, but I cannot use Farore's Wind right now. So if you switch those items, you have one frame where that usability doesn't get updated. So there's one frame where I would be able to use Farore's Wind, but would not be able to use Zelda's Letter. And you can use that to use an item on one frame.
Yeah, if only it was that simple in regular OOT.
Yeah.
That's such a big deal for this game.
Okay, right here. I'm doing another. This glitch here that I didn't explain very well earlier is called a Death Hole Wrong Loop. So same thing, dying while entering the grotto, and then quitting the game to essentially load into a playable state on the title screen, returning to Farore's Wind here. Actually does just take you back to the market. Entering the shooting gallery takes you outside Temple of Time. And then entering Temple of Time actually does take you to Temple of Time. However, it puts you behind the door of time so you can pick up the Master Sword. Great.
Nice, good dot skip.
So some cutscenes when you're in the Death Hole Wrong Warp state, in the title screen state, will actually cancel that state. So the cutscene where you enter the Temple of Time and it like pans around, it says, hey, you're in the Temple of Time. That cutscene will cancel it, which is really good because if you tried to pick up the Master Sword while in that state, it would basically soft lock the game. So you can only do that dot skip once per file, because once that cutscene is cleared, you can no longer do it, because picking up the Master Sword will not actually take you to this cutscene. So yeah. And this is like mid-task stretch break. This is
yeah, the
a lot
old
of cutscenes here.
The old break time.
And there's gonna be even more cutscenes than just this. But that's okay, because after this, still 5 dungeons to complete.
Yeah, so we have Deku, Jabu, and Forest down, right?
Yep, Deku, Jabu, Forest. So that still leaves Dodongo's Cavern, Fire Temple, Water Temple, Shadow Temple, and Spirit Temple. This cutscene acts really weird if you can clear the text really fast. Because it still needs to wait for the camera to like pan around the area. So there's a lot of really awkward moments where Rauru and Link are just kind of staring at each other, waiting for the cutscene to keep going.
The awkward silence. Who's gonna say something first?
So like that text box, if you could clear it, because it's on a white background, you would not be able to get quick text on that. I don't know why. It's strange, but yeah. So you know how it goes. Now that we're adult, it's time to go to Kakariko Village, get the hook shot, start beating dungeons. Gotta finish this cutscene. Don't need a shield where we're going. And And since we didn't watch this cutscene earlier, this plays. So
Nice.
this is cutscene number 2.
I wonder what Natalie
love this.
will point out to us.
Yeah. It's the legendary blade.
Wow, that's the
There it
Master
is.
Sword, huh?
Yeah. And cutscene number 3.
Oh, yeah,
so because Forest Temple was completed,
no, go ahead.
There's the Prelude of Light cutscene is here. So gonna get the Prelude of Light. There are a lot of ways to skip this cutscene, but they all require items that I do not have, like the Sun Song, or you know, an item that I can use in this room to be able to use Farore's Wind, because I could enter the cutscene and return Farore's Wind, but I don't have an item I can use in Temple of Time right now to do restricted items.
Nice.
So yeah, so if I had like a bottle or a trade item, I could skip this cutscene, but alas, or even like bombs or something would be helpful as well. Okay, now we get to do the adult segment. Is what I would say if we were doing an adult segment. We're going back to child, baby.
Nice. Just wanted Prelude, that's it.
Yep, just want a Prelude. Going back child. Now, the reason why Prelude was important was because there was a strange addition to, not strange, it was a neat addition to Ocarina of Time 3D. And if you were reading very carefully, you would have noticed that there's one extra cutscene, or text box in that cutscene, where Sheik tells you about the boss rush mode, where you can refight old bosses by talking to Link's bed. And so I enter that menu, I leave, and now I'm setting Farore's Wind. Also, that text box for talking to the bed is bugged in this version, so you can rest at the bed and enter the menu without closing the text box, which I use right here to refill my magic. And back to Deku Tree.
Round 3.
So this is Deku Tree 3. Going up. And doing that one more time. Okay. So when I was talking earlier about how there's game states, right? So when I set Farore's Wind, this is going to be difficult to explain. When I set Farore's Wind after entering that boss rush menu, if I was to return to that Farore's Wind, because normally you're not supposed to be able to set Farore's Wind there, the game would actually take Link to the title screen. It would almost be like a soft reset if I was to return to that Farore's Wind point. So by doing restricted items and entering that blue warp, what happens there is that the game, when I try to return the Farore's Wind, it's trying to take Link to the title screen. But there's also this thing that gets set when you enter a blue warp that's already been cleared, where the game kind of overrides what the game state is. And so the game says, okay, I'm trying to go to the title screen, and that means we need to be in title screen mode. But then what happens is that blue warp sets that thing that says, no, we're going to be in cutscene mode. Or we're going to be in like gameplay mode. And so basically, this is a different way of kind of wrong warping into the title screen. But this particular version of it has a really strange thing where the title screen kind of has its own file data, like save data associated with it. And that save data has, you'll probably wonder, why am I voiding so many times? That's because I now have 14 hearts. As well as almost every single item in the game, because I've wrong warped into the file associated with the title screen. Luckily, there's some water here, so that I can use some of the bombs and the damage I'm getting from voids to damage down, land in the water, die, and so that I can save and quit, because you cannot pause when you're on the title screen or when you're in that particular state. So I need to do a death warp to save. So now I'm pretty much playing on the title screen file.
Yeah, you got basically every item there.
Basically every item. You pretty much just don't have the upgrades for things. So I've only got like bomb bag 20, like lowest quiver, etc. But I do have 50 bomb chews, which is really fun for tassing.
I love having 50 bomb chews.
Yeah, it's good. So now we can start doing some fun TAS Hess movement and stuff like that. So yeah, going basically 40 minutes in the run without having bombs or bomb chews is kind of painful, but now we just get to go crazy with it. Okay, I'm going to do something here that has probably never been done in a speedrun ever, because this is not done in the real-time route of this game. So I set Furrow's Wind in the Hyrule Market. CFG, I wonder if you even know what's about to happen here. Because I remember people were making a big deal about it maybe a year and a half ago. But I don't think there was ever like a real practical application for it. So you'll notice I dispelled Furor's Wind right there, and now I'm resetting it.
I think I do know what's happening.
Yeah. So if I return to Furor's Wind point frame perfectly, what'll happen is it'll take me to the map where Furor's Wind's supposed to be, but to the coordinates of entering Kakariko Village, which the Furor's Wind point, because I'm in the weird Death Hole wrong warp mode, takes me to the Shadow Temple, but with the coordinates of entering Kakariko Village, and with just the perfect amount of movement, I am pretty much positioned right above the loading zone to the Shadow Temple boss room, and by entering that, it takes me to Morpha.
Nice.
So there's kind of another way to do that trick, but that way is way faster using the Furor's Wind desync. So when I'm in Death Hole mode, I can only use the 2 items that I have equipped. So I want to have Furor's Wind, and I want to have Bomb Chews to do a couple of things. So I have to do that fight without Hookshot, which is really hard to do. I figured out, I don't know if, can you do that on N64? Can you crouch stab Morpha out of the water?
Yeah, you can. It's very precise, but actually, I don't know if you can with Master Sword. Every time I've ever done it, it's always been with Big Goron Sword.
It's really, like, Morpha needs to do this weird bounce after the hit. Like, 99% of the time, it doesn't actually work.
Yeah, that part seems pretty random. But yeah, the fight is much cooler without Hookshot. I'm sure it's a lot harder, but much more entertaining.
Yeah, it's way harder. And then using Furor's Wind. So Furor's Wind right now is set. Oh, so right there, cutscenes don't like to play when you're in title screen mode. So I was in the Chamber of Sages, and I used the Bomb Chew to Death Warp. And Death Warping takes me out of Death Hole mode. But basically, I set Furor's Wind in the Morpha boss room, but I set it while in Death Hole wrong warp. And so when I return it, it's going to try to take me to the map of the loading zone where I actually set it. And if you'll remember, I entered the Shadow Temple boss room to get to Morpha. So by setting Furor's Wind there and then leaving Death Hole mode, the Furor's Wind point will take you to where it should actually go, which is Shadow Temple with Shadow Temple boss. Sugita Bongo Bongo. I hope you're all taking notes. We call that boat skip because it skips the whole boat segment of Shadow Temple, but it also just goes straight to the boss. So it's like a double boss run work. So this was probably, looking back, I'm gonna out myself, probably the biggest mistake that I made in the TAS. That fight probably could have been done a little faster. So there's no power crouch stabbing in this game. However, I noticed 2 things I could have done. One, I could have ended the fight with the jump slash and saved me from having to do 1 slash. I don't know. I wasn't thinking. But the other thing is this file has the Giant's Knife It does not have the big Goron sword, but it has the giant's knife.
And that would that be able to kill it like before breaking?
So when you quick spin with the giant's knife, it does not take durability damage.
Yeah.
Right? So I could have done that, but I was like, oh, is equipping the giant's knife and then having to unequip it later, is that like actually good? But I'm thinking it for sure would have been good. Yeah, it like definitely would have been. So that was kind of dumb. I should have done that. Oh well.
Dang, I can't believe you lost like a second.
Oh, this stret's sick.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah, I love that. I was thinking like, how the hell am I gonna get over to the?
Yeah, I love that you can.
Fast.
I love that you can equip hover boots as an item, so you don't have to pause every time for this. I'm sure you get to do
even cooler later.
Yeah, I'm sure you get to do so many cooler Hef strats with that.
One thing to note: if you have the Shadow or Spirit medallions in your inventory, when you enter the blue warp, it will not play the cutscene for those respective dungeons. And I do have those in my inventory because I'm on the title screen file. So I set Ferrar's Wind outside of the Bazaar shop, and that's gonna come in handy.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's the first instance of a hookshot jump, not a doom jump. So a hookshot is kind of goofy, where if like a cutscene, if something interrupts you on the same frame when the hookshot hits a target in a specific way, you'll keep all of like your vertical momentum from the hookshot. But you won't like stop when you hit the target. You'll just keep going up. So you can go up really fast and really far. And coincidentally, one thing that you can cancel the hookshot with is cutscene or an animation. And in this game, an animation was added when you put on the hover boots or iron boots because they're a standalone item. So you can use the hover boots or the iron boots to cancel the hookshot and go really high up. Also, I love this.
Wait, can you just move during the cutscene here?
No, so there's a weird thing where if you're standing in a specific spot, as that cutscene starts, Link will just run around in circles. But I did it in such a way where he like started, he's moonwalking right now.
Nice.
It's crazy. I don't even know how I did that. But I knew you could spin during the cutscene, and I was trying to get him to do that. But I made it happen in like kind of a wacky way. Another wrong warp here. I don't have anywhere in particular I want to go, so I'm basically just trying to do the quickest cutscene. In this case, it's the Sun Song cutscene again. So that's basically just to cancel out that cutscene.
So that cutscene doesn't actually give you Sun Song, right?
No, it does not. I wish it did. Because if it did, I could have used it to skip the Prelude cutscene earlier. But in this file, I do already have Sun Song. I have every warp song, which is why I'm able to just use the Requiem of Spirit here, because I do have it, so I can just go straight to the Spirit Temple. Okay, this is really hard and really precise. But you can do a crazy hookshot jump here. You need insane height. And you can go over the wall, and you can land in this loading zone.
Nice.
Alright, now we're going giant snipe mode.
Nice hammer boost.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a smart movement method.
I know. Cool. I actually did all of Spirit Temple, not realizing that I could do this, and then retask the whole thing, because I'm like, dude, hammer slides are so sick. And the other thing is when I have giant snipe equipped, I can't like slash bomb shoes to do like quick Hesses and stuff because it'll rip through the durability of the weapon. So I don't want to do that. So that's why Hammer Slide is a great alternative. So my original idea for this boss fight was essentially I'm gonna try to use the hook shot to I'm gonna use the hook shot to clip out of bounds to skip the cutscene after the fight. But I was thinking, how do I get the Nabooru Knuckle to walk to the wall faster? So at first I was just gonna send a ton of bomb shoes at the boss so that she would keep walking to the corner. But then I was like, oh, the Big Goron sword has just enough reach to not have her attack Link, but also still take damage. And it took me a really long time to figure out that I could just do a jump slash there to hit the Nabooru Knuckle at the same time that I was like out of bounds, because the hitbox extends behind Link's back, just like Deku Stick. I was trying to do some crazy, stupid stuff where I like wrapped a chew around one of those pillars. But then I was just like, oh yeah, I can just jump slash.
Yeah, that's because of the jump slash hitbox being behind Link in OG 3D, right?
Yes. Okay, Twinrova is a lot of RNG manipulation. You can get what are called doubles, essentially, where one of the witches will send 2 attacks, one after another. And you can actually get 3 of those in a row. There's a really difficult explanation for how it works. Danny B has a great video on it. You can go watch that. I'm not going to explain it. But basically, I had to manipulate a lot of good stuff here. Do you remember that, TFT? Remember hover skiing?
Yeah, hover skiing. Yeah, I was just going to say. The old cool but not actually fast movement method.
Not fast. So yeah, so the ice switch here is just hanging out in one place and keeps giving me really fast attacks. So this last one, yeah, so you can't get 4 doubles in a row. The last one, you have to wait for one of the witches to swing back around.
But even then, it's still, like, barely slower than an actual double.
Exactly. Yeah, you just get the same witch to do a little U-turn and head right back to the platform and send another shot. So you can also get doubles on the second phase, where instead of moving from one platform to another, she'll just stay in one spot. So I'm doing that here too.
Nice mega flip. Oh no, your sword broke.
Cool. Sword broke. For whatever reason, it seems like it takes double durability on Twinrova.
Yeah, I think what's happening... I think it like hits an airborne hitbox and a grounded hitbox at the same time, or not like consecutive frames.
So yeah, it's kind of weird, but so sword breaks there. But normally, because there's no power crouch stabs, normally you would have to do 2 cycles on this fight. But having the giant snipe lets it end in 1, which is very fast, much faster than having to go through a second cycle.
Oh, so there's actually no way you could possibly one cycle without Giant Snipe for Big One Sword in this? I
don't think you actually have enough time to do like a stun lock.
Okay, interesting.
I've tried it. Like maybe I'm completely wrong, but I don't think you can do it. And this cutscene won't play because I already have the Spirit Medallion. And I think There's only one more dungeon. Just Fire Temple left. And we can get there very quickly because we have all the warp songs.
Nice movement.
Yeah, love that movement. Sometimes fessing is a little faster if you're going a short distance. So I do it in a couple places. Oh, also, I have all of the keys and boss keys for every dungeon. That's also something you get with the title screen file. So just get to open the door. And I used a key in Spirit Temple as well. So didn't have to get any keys. Just got to open all the doors. I don't know if I've ever seen anyone do this fight the way I'm doing it. So maybe someone's done it. Maybe there's like another task, but the OT tasks on N64 can do something kind of cooler than this, but this fight is very fast.
That's neat.
Very good.
Yeah, so that's hitting a second hitbox for Volvagia, because Volvagia has like a flying hitbox and a grounded hitbox, and the flying hitbox is under the last hole she flew into, which is that first one in the fight. So all those shoots were just hitting that other hitbox.
And I think either the explosion radius of bombs is bigger in this game, or the hitbox is like easier to hit, because you can be like way further off.
Yeah, I was gonna say, in regular OOT, those two explosions would not have hit. You have to be like much closer to the center of the hole.
And that's time right there.
Oh, that's time. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Right there. Because I set Ferro's Wind and Death Mountain Trail earlier, and using that right here, and Fire Temple, wrong way to the credits.
Yeah, and that's all the dungeons. Nice.
That is all of the dungeons.
Very cool task. That was a ride.
Yeah, sorry, I was talking a lot, but there's like a couple portions of that run where it's like there's so much.
There's definitely a lot to explain in that.
I'm gonna submit this to TAS videos later today. I have a huge author's note write-up that explains everything in this run way better than I probably explained it right now, because I had 3 months to think about how I was going to write it. So yeah, if you're interested in, because there's a lot of stuff I didn't even talk about in this video, because there's not enough time to go over everything. So if you're interested in reading more about it, that's going to be up.
It's being submitted to TAS videos. TAS videos is the site where most TASs you can find there.
Exactly. Yes. TAS videos. So if you go to the website and then you go to the submissions tab, you can scroll all the way down. I'll be on there.
They rejected the Metroid Prime TAS? What?
Did they?
I guess. I'll be mad. I'll be mad with you, Tom. Oh, but yeah, this was a really cool task. Also, I know you have the video on YouTube for the raw recording. Do you want to link that now? Or?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I can do that. I've actually got it up right here. Oh yeah, I should just make that public, I guess. There's a video. Um,
All right, cool. If you guys
Go ahead and
wanna
edit
see the video only, and then you're gonna upload this too after, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna upload this
Yeah,
right
I'll
now.
send. Yeah, I'll send you the recording right after.
Cool.
Oh, is this part of the credits just glitched?
Oh shoot, I stopped watching it. What part are we at?
the
Yeah, let me-
flames.
Oh,
The
it's all
flames in the long
glitched.
one.
Yeah.
Oh
all
yeah,
glitched.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Really wanted a good camera shot of those flames.
Yeah, exactly. And there's also, how the heck do I? There it is. Save public video. Very cool. There's also a bit. I don't know if you remember, but there's a funny thing that the glitch credits in this game does. I don't know if it does it on N64, but when you get to the Lon Lon Ranch part, there's something goofy that happens because the camera stays in one place for a really long time.
Yeah, it's happening right. Yeah, the camera was
Yeah.
just focusing on the dancing for an awkwardly long time.
Oh, not that.
Oh, okay.
I'm
something else.
behind now. Yeah, I mean that's good too. But
yeah, the music is like very obviously desynced pretty hard right now.
Yeah. Oh, this is it right here. Yeah. I'm sure I'm like a couple seconds behind.
Oh, we're just gonna awkwardly watch this group.
No,
What?
look in the back.
Oh! I know what's happening. I know
coming.
what's happening. He's
He's
coming.
coming.
He's coming.
The way that the timing on this works, it's just beautiful. It's just wonderful.
That timing is so good.
I mean, he just like busts through the boxes, runs through everyone, and then it just fades to black right as he gets right in front of the camera.
It's like a horror game death scene.
yeah. The Dark Souls like you died text comes up. It's great. Yeah, but I mean that's really it. The credits are mostly the credits, and they're really long in this game because there are second credits after the first credits.
The bonus credits phase 2.
Yep, the bonus credits.
Okay, now the music is super awkward. Just silence.
Yeah. Oh no, at the end, there's just nothing.
Dancing to silence.
They're having a good time. Don't judge them.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah. They can dance however they like.
What are you gonna speedrun, ZFG? You said you're gonna get back into it soon. What are you
I
gonna
want to do hundo again, but routing is hard, and then IQ might be a thing, and it might be
Wait,
making
why?
a comeback because Dynapoly Wrong Warp works on only IQ and GameCube, and of those two, IQ is likely better than GameCube. Well, it depends on circumstances. There's a lot to figure out. But
Is that gonna be used?
Maybe it's still a maybe right now.
Oh no. I'm
But
so sorry to hear that.
There are many things that need to be figured out right now for hundo. But yeah, what
good
about
luck
you?
with that? I don't.
Do you have anything you're planning on working on in the near future?
I've got a couple things that I've started working on a little bit. I don't really like to talk about what I'm working on.
All right,
Then if people
secret
know
plans.
I'm working on it, like I
Yeah,
don't want anyone to talk to me about it.
got to work on it in silence.
Exactly. There were only a very small handful of people who knew that I was working on this. And they didn't even know that I was working on it until it was maybe 2 weeks before it was finished. So yeah, I don't usually talk about what I'm working on.
All right, well, cool. Credits are almost. Well, I guess credits part 1 is almost over.
Yeah, there's second credit. I mean,
I guess maybe just cut it off at first credits.
yeah, I'm
So
not.
All right, so we don't
super
drag it
worried
on
about commentary
too
afterwards.
long. All right.
Yeah, no, but I will definitely. There will be more tests. They might not necessarily be Zelda, but there will be more tests.
Cool.
I would like to do more Zelda. I think it'd be really cool to do like a max % child, like low tat or something.
Oh, that'd be super cool.
For how long that is, I don't think I can dedicate the
full
kind of
TAS
optimization that I put into this. Yeah.
But OT3D Max Gen Child is. I remember watching you do it like a long time ago. It's really unique, right? Has a lot of
extremely
really cool stuff compared to like vanilla
I think
OT.
it's just about as many items as vanilla OT gets. I guess GameCube or without SRM. Sure, we'll put that little caveat right there. Without SRM, I think it does just about as many items. Although maybe that's changing now because of like Dynapoly stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, Dynapoly, we can get a few extra things. We can get like double defense now, which is cool. And like an extra Skulltula.
So that'll probably change things. But yeah, I mean, I kind of like to do that, but don't hold me to that one. I haven't started working on anything like that.
All right, well that's cool. So I guess this is it. So thanks for making this task. This was very cool to watch. Hope everyone enjoyed it. Chat, what did you think? Was it good?
I really appreciate you letting me showcase it here. These take a lot of work, so
yeah, of course.
Always small audience.
Love showing these off.
A meager audience here of dedicated fans is much appreciated. Love doing this stuff, so thank you.
All right, so yeah, I think we'll be done here. Yeah, this is gonna go on Ben's YouTube channel. Yeah, you want to link your YouTube channel real quick?
Yeah.
Go shill yourself.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to show, but I can do that. I thought there was a way to like link it without. Yeah, go there.
All right, yeah. So this will be up there a little bit later. But yeah, thanks for watching,
with
guys.
the commentary.
Yeah. I think there's no commentary version up right now, and then with commentary will be later.
Alright.
So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you all enjoyed. But that's it for now. So see you all later.
Bye, chat.
Bye-bye. Oh, I guess we can raid. Let's raid GDQ, since GDQ just started.
Yeah,
even though we're banned.
Based. Yeah, even though they had the audacity to ban both of us.
But you know what? We'll be the bigger people, and we'll raid them anyway. Oh yeah, let me link Ben's YouTube channel on YouTube also. Here you guys go.
Oh yeah,
all right.
I've only been put stuff in Twitch chat.
All right, see you guys later. Bye bye.